On It podcast. We are back for 2019 again with episode 11. I'm joined, as always, by my guy, Randy White, regional sports editor of the Appalachian Newspapers, and Cory Vance behind the camera, as always, on the production. And we've got the All-A tournament kicked off over at the Expo Center last week, the girls' side of the bracket. First game was Prestonsburg Betsy Lane. There's a lot of good basketball going on over there, but talk a little bit about that first couple of rounds of Prestonsburg Betsy Lane, Jenkins Pierce.
Yeah, we'll just kind of kick it off Friday night, the play-in games. Petersburg Betsy Lane, that's two district rivals. Petersburg got off to a slow start. Second half they kind of went going. Had a big second half, and they ended up getting the big win over Betsy Lane to advance. If you want to look at some of the stats, Wes, I mean, you can tell us some of the top players for Betsy Lane and Petersburg that night. I mean, I think Reese Endicott for Prestonsburg had a big game. So, I mean, if you want to look at a little bit.
Reese Endicott, 19 points. They got Caroline Arias, also 17 points. Big game. Allison Campbell, 14 points. So they had four players in double figures, and then Caitlin Keithley right there with 8 points. I mean, looked like a really big team win for Prestonsburg that night, and moving on into the second round. Yeah,
and then the second game that night was Jenkins and Pierce. Jenkins, they kind of overpowered Pierce a little bit, a little outmanned them. Had a really good showing. Jenkins had a lot of scoring. I think they shot about 40% for the game. Shot pretty well at the Expo Center. A lot of teams struggle. I think Pierce, I mean, if you look at they only struggled for like 18%. But, I mean, if you want to look at some of the Jenkins top players, I mean, I think they had 4 players in double figures.
Yeah, another team, 4 players in double figures. They were led by Lindsay Rose with 17 points. Looks like Samaria Mead had 16, and Kristen Thacker pitched in 14. Jerica Thacker with 11. So another big win by the Jenkins Lady Cavaliers, running away with it against Pierce and jumping off into another big second-round game.
Yeah, and then moving on to Saturday, Phelps and Paintsville opened it up after UPike played. Phelps and Pierce girls opened it up. I said Pierce, but it's Paintsville. Paintsville and Phelps. Paintsville, it looked like Anna Keaton and company came out and scored real well. I think Caitlin Newsom was 4 or 5 shooting on the day. She had some early threes, shot the ball well at the Expo, and they cruised to a big 20-point lead. I think that was a 53-33 win, so Paintsville advanced.
Yeah, big win for Paintsville. Like I said, Anna Keaton leading the way, 19 points. Elizabeth Williams with 16. And Paintsville rolls into the second round, and then moving into the Shelby Valley Lady Wildcats and Prestonsburg Lady Blackcats. I mean, that's
probably the game of the tournament so far. Yeah. Petersburg came up with a big upset. Shelby Valley had the lead late. Petersburg got the lead within the last 5 minutes of the game. Some turnovers hurt Shelby Valley, but you got to give Petersburg credit. Hit some big threes, and I think that was the key. Some big threes down the stretch. If you want to take a look at some of the leading scorers there.
Yeah, Prestonsburg led by, looks like Reese Endicott, 15 points, and 14 from Caitlin Keithley. Shelby Valley, Alyssa Ellswick had 16, and Caitlin Adkins 14. And the game looked like it was close all the way down to the wire.
Yeah, it was a real good game. I mean, it was probably the game of the tournament so far. 2 evenly matched teams. But moving on to Sunday, Jenkins and East Ridge. They had a really close game. Yeah. East Ridge, I think Jenkins came back and tied the game late in the third quarter. Some foul trouble from Kristen Thacker there late for Jenkins. She fouled out. Once she fouled out, East Ridge kind of took the lead and kind of held on to it. But if you want to look at some of the leading scores there, I mean, that was another good one.
Haley Mead for East Ridge going off over there with 24 big points, 17 from Kelsey Sloan. So a huge win for the East Ridge Lady Warriors, moving on to the Pikeville Lady Panthers and the Sheldon Clark Lady Cardinals.
Yeah, that was a game that a lot of people thought would be a lot closer, but you got to give Pikeville credit. They came out and just – jumped on Sheldon Clark early, took the lead right out of the gate, and never let up. Had a bunch of girls 7 to 10 points. Nobody really stood out too much scoring wise, but I mean, if you want to look at some of those leaders for Pikeville, I think they were pretty well even matched.
Yeah, it looks like about everybody on the team got some points. Huge team effort for Pikeville in this one. Everybody pitching in. Kelsey Jo Tackett 10, and Grace Bartley also with 10 points leading the way. And so Pikeville moving on. So we've got some highlights coming up from the first couple of rounds of the All-A tournament over there, with the semifinal between Paintsville and Peaburg being Monday night at 6 o'clock, and then East Ridge and Pikeville playing in the other semifinal. So be on the lookout for more highlights from the girls semifinal and final, and highlights next week from the boys, start of the boys All-A Classic.
Yep, boys starts Wednesday after girls final, so be on the lookout for complete coverage of the boys next week.
Check out the highlights.
This is a homage beat.
That's the first time we finished the game all year. Third quarter's always been our Achilles heel. We came out, we played hard, the girls competed. We got off to a slow start. I give Betsy Lane all the credit. They had a great game plan. They came out and executed. Felt like we came out a little slow. We missed a lot of shots early, but they did an amazing job guarding us. They out-rebounded us the whole game. They out-rebounded us by 4. And it's a rival. It's a district game. They played really good. We hit shots the second half. That was the key. Our intensity picked up. We got up and down the floor and we played fast. That's, for us to be competitive and be able to compete for a regional title, that's what we got to do. Well, that's huge, and that's with us. We start 5 guards, and it's really hard on us to rebound the basketball. If all 5 don't rebound, we struggle. The second half, all 5 went to the boards. A lot of our guards were leading rebounders. When I say guards, but we're all guards. I was really proud of the bench tonight. They came out, they rebounded the basketball, they got in there. The game was more physical in the second half, and we were the team that started that. I thought that was the difference all right. We played tomorrow night. We played Shelby Valley. They're a great team. We watched them last night. They had a great win over Johnson Central. We're just going to come out and play our game. You game plan for teams, but at the end of the day, we got to come out and hoop.
With us is we're not active at all on defense. Actually, I ask my girls all the time if they could spell defense because they can't play defense. I think it's more of an advantage than a disadvantage having a playing game, regardless of if you're playing Louisville Male or anybody else. These girls have already seen it. They said the rims were very soft. They already complained about that. And, a soft rim's a sugar's rim. Tried to tell them that, but Jerica said otherwise. They're not used to playing. Like, this is probably the biggest crowd we've played in front of, not counting double headers. They're just not used to the big atmosphere. But, 94 feet.
Yep.
Denise is the best coach in Eastern Kentucky. I say it to everybody I talk to. She does more with what she has than anybody around could do. They're well coached, disciplined. They don't really have a standout, and I don't mean that in a bad way at all. They've got 4, 5, 6 girls that can contribute and score 10, 20 points at any night. That's a tough team to game plan for, but if we come out and we play the way that we're capable of playing, I'm not worried about anybody in this tournament.
We kind of struggled recently shooting the ball, so it was kind of something we needed to do to get our team rolling. When we shoot the ball well, we're pretty good. So we got Anna and Swoop and Caitlin Newsom hit 3-3. Anytime we get other players putting the ball in the basket, it really helps those two. So you can't say enough about Caitlin tonight. And Claire Blair's a little bit off, but she usually does the same thing. So when we get 4 people shooting the ball, we're pretty good. Well, Anna and Elizabeth, you can't say enough about what they've done their whole career. They both started since 7th grade, so they kind of carry us, and we rely on them a lot and making good decisions and taking care of the basketball. But I think they're probably the 2 best guards in the region. I'm kind of biased, but I think they're right there. Great matchup. I just got a chance to see Prestonburg tonight. Very athletic team, good guard play. Their pressure's good. When they shoot the ball, they're really good. So it's an interesting matchup.
I told the girls in the locker room I got emotional. It's unbelievable the fight and grit this team has. To do stuff, these girls, at Prestonburg, this has never happened with girls like that. And they're coming out, they're not giving up. I told them at halftime, this is going to be a dogfight. We came out strong, but the biggest key was we listened. We executed. As you notice down the stretch, every time we called a timeout, we come out, we got a steal, or we scored. Every time they called a timeout, we came out, got a steal, or scored. I cannot thank them enough. They came out, they played hard, they wanted it. And I told them in the locker room, I feel like all year we've been hitting this wall. And you saw it in the game. Second quarter, we was nonchalant. But what happened is I told them after this game, I feel like we busted through that wall. And I feel like, to be honest with you, man, I feel like we could win this whole thing. It was hurting us bad, and we made some adjustments. And I pointed out after the game, we had a starter that played an amazing game, but we went big at the end, and she didn't even play in the fourth quarter. But you know what? She was there cheering the whole time. She was cheering them on. We did a really good job on them in the fourth quarter. We rebounded the ball. And that was the biggest difference in the game, I felt like. We did our rotations right, we rebounded, we kept them with one shot, and then we got out and pushed the ball. I think it'll be a good game. I really do. I've watched them play a couple times, obviously watched them play here today. They got some really good players. But you know what? I think we got some really good players. And tell you what, whoever's reffing that game, they better have some sneakers on, buddy. We're getting up and down the floor.
listen, we found a way to win tonight. You know, Lord has blessed us. I don't know. We just finding, I said, the good Lord just blessed us with some kind of strength to get over the hump. We got Sarah out who hurt her ankle the other night in the Paintsville game, but we found a way. It wasn't pretty. I think we had 21 turnovers or somewhere in that area again. But we found a way to battle and just, you know, keep it close. I mean, Lord knows, and try to hang on to the win. They're a good team. I mean, when you play someone 2 and 3 times, they're going to get you at one point or the other. And, you know, that's in the back of my mind, too, on that. But we just had to stay aggressive, try to keep doing what we do best, and try not to worry about them. And we still, like I said, we're point guard short with someone being a leader out on the floor. But you know, through it all, again, having my big girl out and all my young kids stepping up and playing roles, I thought we did well and finished strong. Well, we've worked all week with the gun, and I'm hoping that was a big key to part of it. But they've worked hard. Our shooting early we've struggled. Don't get me wrong, we've struggled from behind the arc and even inside. But you know, for me, I want them to keep shooting. Hopefully, we shot the ball amazing. That's what Coach was telling us, the percentage on it. Well, they had their feet set, you know, they were set and ready to shoot, and that's all I can ask out of them. And hey, they knocked them down. That's all we can ask. And I'm just thankful, and the Lord's blessed us with a good win tonight.
Neutralize for a little bit for them, and that seemed to be a key.
I think she's a phenomenal player, number one, and we knew we were going to have to come out and do a great job against her because she can score so well and she can rebound so well. And I mean, obviously she's already got right at 1,000 points, 1,000 rebounds, and we knew we were going to have to guard her. But I thought the big key, like you said, was that defensively we were able to get out and pressure the ball. And that really helped us. And then, like you said, on the offensive end, we moved the ball and got the shots we want. Right. I mean, we know that our offense a lot of time depends on us playing good defense. And so we talk about all the time that we want to defend the ball and not get steals on the ball. We want to get them off the ball, which is where you see Jaden getting those off the ball. And then, like you said, you know, Kelsey coming down and recognizing, you know, what is a good shot, and she did that today.
It seemed like y'all shared the ball really well today.
We did.
I mean, just talk about how key when that ball's moving like that, and it makes your offense more fluid. I mean, just talk about how key that is.
It is. It's really important because, you know, we don't want teams to look at us and say, well, you got a key on a certain player. I think that's what's hard for teams is matchup-wise. You know, who are you going to, you know, because hopefully if Grace isn't having a great night, then Les or Christian will. And then hopefully if Kelsey's not having a great night, then Liv or Jaden or Trin will. And that's the thing for us is that we know, you know, everybody's got a small part. And that's what before the game, I gave them little cards and I said, these are your expectations. And nobody was expected to score more than 10 points.
Yeah.
And so I think for them, that's the key is that they understand that we can all just score 8 to 10 points and come out with the win.
Well, you know, there's a little fall off early in the third. They cut it to 6 or 8 maybe once or twice. So can't say enough about Elizabeth and Swoop and Anna. Just two good players. It makes you look good as a coach. And watching a girl put up 41 and I think what Anna had
28, I think.
41 and 28. I mean, that's just girls. It's 2 girls that's been in the gym since they were 3rd graders. And seniors, you know, this is what you get. You get 2 good, solid high school players. You know, that's what seniors do. You know, you got kids that want the ball in those situations and need a basket, and that's what both of them did tonight. You know, when we needed one, they make a little run. We need one to get it back to 10, and those two seem to do that for us all night long. And we found shooters better in the second half. You know, they got some good shooters. You know, we scored 46 in the first half, and you know, they scored 33. It didn't seem like we should have been up 13. We just got that hot. So, you know, hats off to Prestonburg. They got a good team too. I mean, those girls played hard tonight, and we're just fortunate enough to have two girls that really got hot. Played in it, you know, we won it in 17, so our girls like playing up here. You know, we won the region in 17, all A and the 15, so we seem to do well up here. We hope it keeps going for us tomorrow night.
I don't know. They'll tell you sometimes. Kelsey said, "Just tell us what to do, Coach. We will do it." Randy, I have to say, the Lord has been good to. I have to truly praise Him first and foremost with these girls, because to get them to. I told them He was right on top of our shoulders, and has blessed us. So I mean, truly, and we're so young in so many spots, and we're learning each and every day. But the biggest thing I can just keep trying to tell them, don't ever quit. We got someone bigger and greater behind us, and that's been the good Lord. And He has truly blessed us, and they believe anything's possible. They could easily quit. They never did, not a time, not one time, in any time out or any time we got down. Because I told them, I said, they're going to make the run. They may punch back, because you know, they're fired up and we're ahead of them. And they wouldn't have quit in. They knew something was better. You know what I'm saying, that we had it, we could just stay with it and finish it, and they did. They never quit. They never give up. If you look at stats and look at our games, you know, we're averaging 20 probably plus turnovers a game, but we don't have a true point guard. You know, we're working on one. We're trying to build one up, but we've had 20 plus turnovers every game. But our defense and our never give up, quit, you know, going to stay after it, allows us to do that. Now, grant you, we're 4 and 5. Maybe just 5 or 6 wins due to that. But we're getting close. We're getting better. We've got to overcome the turnovers, but by our defense, and that's what did it again tonight. Again, how many total do we have?
31, I think.
And they believe in themselves. They know that they trust me. I have to, you know, and I trust them. You know what I'm saying? And they believe that. I don't know. They'll tell you sometimes. Kelsey said, "Just tell us what to do, Coach. We will do it." So that's all. You know, they believe in me and what we're going to call, and then they believe in each other. You know, that's kind of been our thing this year. Believe in each other and have each other's backs. That's what we had to learn. Trust. We had to learn confidence in each. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Are you going to be there if I help you? If you help me? And that's what we. You know, starting out, we didn't know that, Randy, and it's just kept. And the more we've learned to play with each other, it's just it's just been practice. Just, you know, constant practice of getting better, putting them in situations that they can get better and believe and just believe that they can get over the hump and win. And this was big for our confidence, that we as coaches knew something was going to happen great. But, you know, we're blessed tonight, and He was on our shoulders tonight and helped us through this. We had the best 6-man ever, and that was the good Lord above. We like our chances. We like this challenge, and we know Swoops is great. She's a great player. We know Anna Keaton, boy, she's a great player, and we will respect that. But we got to hope that if we can shut them down and not get 40, and I think Swoops had 41?
41 and 28.
28, and hopefully we can cut that in half, and like I said, and do a number with our defense again, with our pressure, and just. Randy, I'm just going to tell them to keep believing in what we do best, and that's put the pressure on. And yeah, we're going to have turnovers. I'm willing to sacrifice that, and we trade with it. But it's going to be tough. Coach Trimble's an amazing coach. He does a great job, and we just got to come ready to play him.
Pull it out of there. Yeah.
Big game. I mean, you're coming in championship game. Y'all played a lot of games up here over the past few years. Won the All-A a few years ago and the region. Seems like Keaton and Williams probably played probably more games up here than most people in the region.
Oh yeah, they have.
Just talk about how big that was.
It's huge. Our experience on the floor. We won the All-A 2 out of the last 3 years.
Yeah.
And of course we won the region in 17. So we played a lot of games here, like you said. And Anna and Swoop, they like the space. I think they got more room to move, and it helps a smaller team, I think. East Ridge had a little more size than us, but we try to spread the floor and do things off the dribble, and I think it helps us the size of the floor.
After last night's performance, everybody was going to be keying on Williams and Keaton. Seems like early on, Blair came in and hit some big threes, took some of that pressure off, allowed them to work their way into the game and find a rhythm. It seemed like, those early threes really gave them space to work.
Yes, totally agree with you. She's done that all year for us. She's a freshman. She's a shooter, as you see. There's not a shot she doesn't think she can make, so I like that about her. And she does take a lot of pressure off Swoop and Anna. Swoop had 3 at the half, and I thought she played fine. She didn't force anything, got some stuff blocked. She got too deep, but like you said, Claire had 9 at the half, had 3 threes, and had a good game really tonight.
Yeah, just talk about, East Ridge after that big win last night, they turn the ball over a lot. They're going to get up and down the court, try to pressure. With your guard play, I mean, how concerned were you coming in that, they're going to try to pressure all a little bit, try to create, because they're one of those teams that they don't care to turn it over if they can create some turnovers themselves.
They wear on, they're physical. They got some size up front in their guards, and they just keep coming and keep grinding, and it can wear on a team, but the experience factor, I think, with Anna and Swoop, attacking that pressure. And I thought Kate Newsom played a good game tonight, helping out, rebounding and getting the ball off the floor. So it was a team effort, but when you get pressure like that, you got to have good guards, and our guards really handled it.
Yeah, last thing, and I'll let you go. Just talk about moving on to the state. Y'all have had that experience. You know what it's like to play at the All-A state level. I mean, whoever you're going to play, they're going to be a good team. Maybe West Carter's the matchup. I'm thinking. I'm not sure, but I mean, just talk about that moving on.
Yeah, we scrimmaged them. I'll be honest with you, it's not a good draw. There's probably 12, 13 teams we could beat in the All-A, and West Carter may not be one of them. So we scrimmaged them. They're really good. The last time we went to 17, we drew Harlan, who went to the finals. So we've had 2 tough draws in the All-A, but it's fun just getting the experience and Not saying we can't go down there and knock off West Carter, but it'll be a chore. We're out to play really well.
Just talk about, winning the 15th Regional A Classic. I mean, nothing new to y'all. Y'all have done this 2 out of 3 years now. I mean, just talk about how big this is and being able to carry y'all's team there, because, I mean, it seems like when you all start going, the rest of the team follows.
It was exciting, since it's our senior year. We really wanted this so bad. We won it in 2017, and we're really looking forward to winning it again.
Yeah, and then, last night, I think you scored 41, had a big game. You had 28. I think you were like 26, 28 again tonight. Just talk about, once you start seeing those shots go in and what it is like shooting up here at the Expo, because it's a little bit different.
Yeah, I like it up here. It's bigger. I like the rims a lot. It's a bigger floor, so it is a little different. But we shot good, really, all 3 games. A lot of us did, so we knew when we saw that first shot go in that we were pretty set for the rest of the night.
Yeah, and just kind of talk about how this gets you prepared for the state now. I mean, next week, playing on this big floor, you got some of that confidence, up and down. I mean, just talk about how big that is.
Yeah, we play West Carter. We played them earlier in the season. We scrimmaged them. We know what they're like, so we're looking forward to it. I think we have a good shot against them. We're fast, that big floor like this one, we can get up and down quicker. So I think we have a big advantage.
Hopefully a lot of Paintsville people will come out and support, and I'd also like to add in that we won this for Chuck McClure. He's been in the hospital pretty bad, so hopefully he'll be back by the time next week, or improving, and everyone just keep him encouraged.
So the UPike men were also in action over at the Expo Center this weekend, men and women.
Yep.
Lots of basketball going on over at the Expo Center right now.
If you're a fan of basketball, the Expo Center is the place to be right now. Men and women both picked up wins. Women, they held on to beat Cumberland's. Men, they had a big lead and held on for a 1-point lead. Cumberland's later make a late charge. UPike found a way to win. It was an exciting game. Kelly Wells found a way to get a win. Big crowd, too. So
yeah, congratulations, Kelly Wells and the UPike men's and women's basketball team for getting big wins over there. And then stick around, check out some of the highlights we have from those games.
All right, moving on to UK now.
Right into UK. So UK came out and got a big win Saturday night against Vanderbilt. If you watched any of the game, Vanderbilt came out really, really strong. I think jumped out to a 13-2 lead on the Cats, but they were able to hang on, get another big win. It's Vandy. I think Vandy is probably going to end up being toward the bottom of the SEC East this year. I don't know. I expect them to be a better team. The SEC is going to be a gauntlet. It's going to continue to be a gauntlet for the next for this season, and we've got some big games coming up with, we got Georgia next. Then we go into number 14 ranked Auburn, number 24 ranked Mississippi State, and then against Kansas. So we're going to see a little bit of what we got coming up.
Yeah, and like you said, Vandy, they always play us tough. That's always a tough matchup. UK Vandy, I don't care where it's at, Rupp Arena, at Vandy, at Memorial, doesn't matter. It's going to be a tough matchup. Vandy shoots the ball. That's been their MO ever since I can remember. They shoot the ball well. They did that Saturday against UK. It seemed like the Wildcats kind of settled down that second half. Got that lead and kind of held it in the second half.
Yeah, it was good to see him able to put that game away, and just the way that Kentucky's been playing over the last few weeks has definitely been more of a bright spot than I think we initially anticipated seeing the first couple of games. We've looked a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like the chemistry's there. It seems like they're growing as a team. It seems like the inside play has been really good.
Yeah.
And the guard play with Hagens, that was a big concern we both talked about before the season started. And it seemed like Hagens has kind of settled that point guard play down, but it looked like he got hurt there late, so that could be something to watch out for.
Yeah, Hagens at 15, Keldon Johnson is always 15 leading us, and Emmanuel Quickly, another 12-point game. I mean, both of the point guards, the guys that are playing out there, are playing really well right now, and it's looking up for Kentucky, but we're going to get tested for sure coming up, and then just playing the rest of this SEC schedule out.
Yeah, now, moving on to NFL. Big NFL weekend. I mean, I was big on the Chargers, and that did not turn out well for the Chargers. I mean, we talked about you can never give up on Tom Brady, and that's why. I mean, just kind of talk about his performance because, I mean, it's vintage Tom Brady.
Yeah.
He looked better than ever, honestly.
Tom Brady, Edelman, and Sony Michel yesterday. It was their show. I mean, Brady looked cool as a cucumber the whole day. He looked, you know, obviously he's been there a million times. Sony Michel had 3 touchdowns in the first half. This game was over at halftime, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I expected a lot better showing out of the Chargers, and I was rooting for the Chargers. I made no, I didn't hide anything as far as that goes, but there toward the end of the game too, I almost started to feel bad for Phillip Rivers because the Patriots pass rush was getting home. And he took some big hits.
Oh, yeah. You know, Phillip Rivers is the guy that we talked about kind of all season. Man, you feel bad for this might have been his last chance for a Super Bowl push. There's always next year, the good young team, but, man, it seemed like this was their year.
The Pats shut down everything they tried to do. I mean, Melvin Gordon was almost non-existent as far as the ground game goes, and the Patriots move on. Listen, just the NFL in general right now, it's all chalk moving on. You got top 2 seeds in both conferences.
And that's how it's kind of been since like 2012, I believe. 1 and 2 seeds always advance. I mean, the other AFC team moved on was Kansas City. Big showing there. I mean, the Colts struggled on the road in the playoffs. Andrew Luck didn't look the same as he did the week before.
No, and that was another game that, yet again, I picked wrong. I thought the Colts were going to go in there, and the way that they were playing, I mean, the Chiefs just shut them down.
I've been big on that Chiefs team all year, and you know, that pass rush looked good yesterday. If they keep that up, they got a chance against Tom Brady, but you got to get to the guy first.
Yeah.
But looking at the NFC, I mean, you know, Saints and Rams, that was a big matchup early in the season, and that's going to be a NFC championship. Rams came out, ran the ball well. I think that was the difference. They just controlled the clock. Dallas just couldn't do anything.
Yeah, Dallas couldn't do anything, and then the Rams also. I mean, C.J. Anderson, just the last couple of weeks, supplementing what they already have with Todd Gurley, has been awesome. I mean, C.J. Anderson ran the ball looking like a little mini Jerome Bettis out there, just balling on, bouncing off people. And Jared Goff was rock solid, and at the end of the day, I mean, that Rams defense looks really good, and it'll be interesting to see how they match up against the Saints in the NFC Championship game. The Saints they killed that Nick Foles magic yesterday.
Oh, they did. But, I mean, I don't know if it was the Saints that killed it so much or Alshon Jeffrey's hands at the end, because that ball went right through his hands. They'd have 1st and 10 on the 13 if he catches that.
Yeah, that was a tough that was a tough way for that season to end. The Eagles were in it, though. I mean, you know, the Saints missed a field goal to go up 2 possessions there toward the end, and I'm thinking, sitting there watching the game, here it is. Nick Foles is going to lead another drive down the field, put them in the end zone, they're going to move on. But it's an unfortunate way for them to end their season. But the Saints, again, man, Mike Thomas, sneaky, maybe the best receiver in the NFL right now. Saints defense made plays when it counted, and we might see Drew Brees, depending on how he plays next week against the Rams, might see Drew Brees in the Super Bowl.
That could be some interesting matchups for the Super Bowl. Brees versus Brady. That's one that, you know, we've never got to see before. 2 guys about the same age, both of them legendary quarterbacks, just setting the passing books on, you know, the record books on fire, both of them. Who do you like in the Super Bowl?
I mean, right now, as of Monday, the day after the games happen, or the day after the weekend of the games, I mean, in the NFC, my gut is telling me the Saints, but my gut has literally let me down this entire bowl and NFL postseason. But my gut's telling me the Saints are going to end up moving on to the NFC, and then the AFC. I just really don't want to see the Patriots. I would love to see Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs go up against the Saints. I think it'd be a cool, like the old guard, the new guard coming in as far as quarterbacks go. Either way, you're going to have some good storylines. But if anything's conditioned me, I'm never going to count the Patriots out. I can't believe the butt whipping they put on the Chargers.
Before the season, I like Rams and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I'll stick with that.
Yeah.
I've not had a good record so far, so that's probably not going to happen, but I'm going to stick with it.
Well, hopefully what I just said didn't just mush the Saints out of the Super Bowl, because I've certainly made some terrible picks this year. So, but we'll see. Either way, I think it's going to be an awesome weekend, conference championship weekend. I look forward to watching all the games. So.
All right. Want to wrap things up right now?